Welcome back to Midwifery Wisdom Reacts. Today we are going to watch a beautiful home birth of a grand multip with her 12th baby. Pretty amazing, like beautiful water birth. So I'm here today with Bekah and Augustine, and let's take it away. See what we got.
Mom of 12. Wow. Oh, those middle of the night labors. That's where it's at.
Was it, this is her 6th home birth?
Yeah.
That sounds real.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly in serious labor at this point.
Real deal.
This is moving quick. Man, she makes it look easy.
Yeah. Did you say they're too close together?
Maybe.
When you just feel like they're coming back to back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We're all nodding our heads. We're like, that baby.
I hear it.
I hear it too.
Pressure in my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some baby back there.
So no rush. He's doing great.
What do you think of that? She said, with this next one, just try a gentle push, see how it feels. If it feels good, great. If not,
I think that's a fine advice for a 6th time, my mom, 10th time mom, 12th time mom. I don't give that advice for first time moms. I want the pushing urge to be irresistible.
Yeah.
But this mom has such body awareness and body history that she's just going to experiment a little bit.
I know, and when I hear people say, if it feels good, do it. And in my head, I'm like, it never feels good. What do you mean? It doesn't feel good.
I think the irresistible is better than good.
Yeah.
Like you can't resist it more than you really want to. It's just you can't resist it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't but push. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just normal. Oh. If the water hasn't broken, you're feeling some of that pressure too, so it's okay to push into that because it'll break your water, if anything else. And you can open up your legs a little bit more. That might put some pressure off your hips. Okay. Kind of open a little.
So yeah, we get a little more info now that the midwife is sharing some. So she's obviously done an internal and knows what she's describing, right? So what she's saying is that there is a bulging bag there. So that pressure is coming from the bag being there. And I'm assuming she wouldn't be recommending that there be some pressing or some pushing unless she was also complete or almost complete. Yeah. So she's recommending that she break her own water by adding some pressure. And that's a very lovely, non-interventive, supportive multip advice. We would not give this advice for first-time moms. We would want the power of the uterus to bring that baby and water down even further. But for a multip, especially a grand multip such as this, it's very appropriate for her to be giving these kinds of work with your body, feel it out, see what's going on. She's being a real team member there. She's communicating her findings and matching them to the mom's experience. And I think that's really appropriate for a grand multip.
I remember my water doesn't break until I'm basically pushing, at least that my two babies.
Yeah.
But I remember when it broke with my first, and the like sense of relief, because I was sitting down. So it was like all of a sudden this huge pressure came off, and I was like, oh man, that felt good. And my midwife said, and now you're going to feel a head. And I said, oh no. But yeah.
Yeah,
so.
the water is the cushion, but
Yeah.
the water is also like bigger and like much more than the head. And so for this grand multip who's experiencing all these sensations, instead of being intervened and being like, let us break your water, you know, the midwife is being like, the next step is this. You can facilitate this. Here, try it out. And I think that's really quite lovely. That shows her respect for the wisdom of the birther.
Go ahead and let it out. See if you can. Nobody will know. It's all that the baby's just pushing on the ground. It's got to empty first.
Bekah, did you hear what she said? I couldn't hear it.
The mom says she felt like she needed to pee, and the midwife said it will all have to empty out before the baby comes out.
So that's another really interesting point, is because if we have a full bladder, it can absolutely prevent the baby's head from settling, the water from settling, even from feeling the urge to push. So I'm glad they're having that conversation. I'm glad the mom is communicating her feelings to the midwife, because then they can help guide each other. It's really great.
And I can see you push the baby down. So, okay.
I love midwives who understand the importance of monitoring. It's so important. What a happy baby.
Yeah.
Perfectly. You see that contraction? There we go.
And you won't feel as much pressure right away, but then I bet you'll have baby. The pressure's intense. The water's really protecting you. You made so healthy, keeping it so strong.
What a sweet midwife, telling her how good she's doing. That's fantastic.
I love to hear validation.
Yeah. There's a baby coming. You see that lovely far off look in her eyes that she has? That is someone who's completely tuned in to their body. That is somebody who is channeling the process. Obviously, she is an expert in this place, having done this 12 times. But I'm so impressed with her ability to just move through that moment. And there's so much like childbirth education around holding your breath and pushing, but actually the way that she's doing it instinctually, we know actually is more effective, where you use your breath and actually your out breath to direct the energy down. So instead of like that, she's that's movement on both directions. And that's actually much more effective.
I remember the first time trying to push, that's how I was pushing, and I was in the hospital, and they corrected me and told me I was doing it wrong. And they're like, no, you should, okay, this is like TMI, you should, you know, push like when you're pooping, like when you're breathing. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And so they told me I was pooping wrong. And I'm like, that's how you work out. When you
Oh,
work out, you do the heavy movement on the breathing out.
Yeah.
yep.
But
Exactly.
I was doing it wrong.
Yep.
So.
That's how the diaphragm works. Yeah. That's how the diaphragm works.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I still got a baby out, but.
Yeah, no, you got it. I mean, like, and there's so much erroneous information out there for birthing moms who like are trying to do it right, but actually getting everyone out of your head and you getting down into your body is the way that you do it right. And instinctively, a lot of people make a lot of noise with pushing, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's actually some evidence to suggest that growl, roar, like intensity is also biologically a part of our defense mechanism. I mean, this is why people are scared of birth. If you hear these sounds, you're like, oh my God, intrinsically, you know, don't mess with that scene, right? And so our predators would also know that and be scared away in those moments of the roaring the birth out, the baby out. That's actually a biological imperative as well, which I think it's like cool just to remember that we are
so
also
amazing.
mammals, and we come from this lineage of birth working for the millennia, you know. Anyway. There's so many birth videos of my ass in the way. I would say that's like the most common experience I've had ever. This exact moment right here.
It's like focused on it.
Aw.
27.
44, 44, one call.
In the call.
Look at that little darling. My only critique in this moment, and it's always of the midwives, not of the moms, is that I want midwives to move slower. You know? So this is obviously cut. This is after a while. And I want to just kind of evaluate that birth scene for a second. So what a beautiful normal birth, first of all. And we really wouldn't expect anything different with a 12th baby. Yeah, even a 6th baby, right? We wouldn't expect anything very different. Normal, mother-directed, fairly straightforward. You know, that's what we'd expect. And that's what happened here. And we watched the midwife monitoring that baby's heart rate moments before it came out. And presumably she's done that regularly throughout, which means she knows that baby's a category 1, that baby has normal, reassuring heart tones. We also know that this birther is totally in control of her power, and there is no reason why there is going to be any, we don't anticipate any issue. Second of all, at the moment of that birth, that baby had good tone and a nice juicy cord, and was actually born in the cull, so as little stress as possible. So all of that should add up in the mind of the midwife and go, yeah. So that when the baby comes out, we can move deliberately, we can move slowly. The baby is warm from the water. The towel is not needed immediately. Vigorous drying is not needed immediately. We can actually just all settle in. And I would say this is that really fine balance that experienced providers are trying to find every day. How do we balance the need for safety with the need for sacred experience? Where is the balance between art and science? And I think this is one of those places that if you really truly don't anticipate a problem, let's move slower. Let's let everyone integrate. Let's actually encourage mom to reach for her baby or dad to reach and hold his baby. Let's just pause on all the doing and let's just be together in those early moments. Now, certainly NRP tells us that, you know, if there's no grimace, no respiratory effort, you know, we need to take take action. And certainly the first 30 seconds is evaluation. And then the next would be starting to have action. So I don't ask us to delay anything that we're needing to do. And I don't ask us to abandon our skills. I ask us to add to our skills and to realize that one of our skills is actually to be, not so much to do. And that these moments that are normal are an invitation to become a witness to what's unfolding instead of doing anything extra. And so I think this was a great example of how normal it was and how you could see that her energy was a little out of sync with what was happening. And it's not really a judgment of this midwife, because she's obviously doing a great job, but it's an invitation for all of us to see beyond the clinical, to see the holistic experience, to remember that this is a moment in their lives that will happen only once, and that how we facilitate it really matters. I think that the reason that this mom had such effort while pushing was because of that intact bag. It makes for a lot less directional. It's almost like the whole bag is going, as opposed to just the head coming down. So it makes it a lot like harder to move that energy. Also, if babies are malpositioned, they're harder to push out because there's a wider diameter, or there's an extra hand, something like that. That all delays the pushing. And also maybe she was pushing a little bit before she was fully dilated. We don't know these things, but I would say what a beautiful birth. There's so much more leeway. There's so much more possibility when it's not your first baby. First babies really have to be kind of step by step, but we can kind of be a little more creative with multips. What a gorgeous birth. What a sweet, supportive family. I want to see all those kids come in and see their baby, right? If she's having baby number 12, I want to see births of the kids. But that's really sweet. What a beautiful shared